All right, so this is our last day of notes for Indicator 7. So tomorrow you guys will have a review assignment, and then we will have the entire class period on Thursday to go over any questions that you guys may have over this. But today we are actually going to talk about what happens when we put in, instead of an equal sign, how we handle it if we have greater than or less than symbols, or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So, do you guys remember whenever we solved inequalities, we could graph our answers on the number line? Whenever we have a greater than or a less than symbol, it tells us a certain direction to shade. And then it also, do you guys remember, how did we decide if it was an open circle versus a closed circle? Whether it's equal to or not. So just like open circles and closed circles, we have to make different types of lines. So a regular greater than or a less than, whenever you graph on a number line, we would do an open circle. On a linear inequality where we have a line, we make it dashed instead of solid. Now, if it has the or equal to symbol, then we just make a normal solid line. So the first thing, it's very comparable, like a dashed line is very comparable to an open circle, and then a solid line is a closed circle. So we're still going to graph lines like normal. So we're going to work a lot with slope-intercept form today. So I know that it's been a few days since we've done slope-intercept form, but we will get some more practice with that. And then we will graph our lines. And then our very last step is going to be shading. And so whenever you shade, it depends on the direction. So I want to make sure everybody has this written down. Yeah, just set it there. Ian, are you still writing? Okay. All right, then the second thing after we make our line, we are going to shade. So whenever it was just on a regular number line, if it was greater than, we shaded to the right. If it was less than, we shaded to the left because that's the direction we're working with. Whenever you have an X and a Y axis, you will, on a greater than symbol, you'll shade above the line. A less than symbol will shade below the line. So whenever you shade above, your shading will go towards the top and to the right because that's like the most positive area on your coordinates. And then whenever we're going less than, we're going to go towards the bottom and to the left. So we're still going to graph everything like we've been doing already. So we're still going to use slopes. We're still going to use y-intercepts. And then we'll make a decision if it is a dotted line or a solid line. Then we'll decide if we're going to shade above or below. Elijah, let me know when you're ready. Good. All right. So whenever we are graphing today, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. All right, so we are going to, and you don't have to write this step by step, but these are the process that we're going to go through. So the first thing we are going to do is if it's not in slope-intercept form, we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. Then we're going to decide if it's solid or dashed, and then we'll make our line, and then we'll decide which way to shade. So for our first example, we are going to graph, and I better make sure this is on before we start. All right, so we are going to graph y is greater than x minus 4. All right, so the first thing we need to ask ourselves, is this in slope-intercept form? So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The y is by itself. Is our y by itself here? Okay, so we're in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what's the slope? All right, the slope is a positive 1, and I'm just going to write 1 over 1 because we can put a 1 there, we just never write it. Now, what's our y-intercept? What's our b value? -4. So we have our slope and we have our y-intercept. Now, on our inequality symbol, it's going to tell us two different things. It's just greater than. All right, it's greater than. So guys, what type of line? Will it be a dashed line or a solid line since it's just greater than? I'm going to say, does it have the or equal to symbol? Nope. If it has the line underneath it, it'll be a solid line. So on this one, this will be a dashed line. Now, do you think greater than means shade above or shade below? So if I have a line, which our line is going to look like this, we're going to shade above. All right, so whenever we graph, we begin with our y-intercept, so that goes on the y-axis. So which direction do I go? If my b value is -4. Down 4. All right, we start at -4, and then my slope tells me to go up 1 and over 1, and it's both positive, so that's why I'm going up and to the right. Now you can make as many points following that pattern as you would like, but now we are going to, instead of making a solid line, we're just going to make a dashed line. And it is very important today, since we're shading different areas, that we extend our line. You see how I extended my line all the way until the graph stopped? Make sure you extend those because it'll make it a lot easier to shade. And so then the next thing we're going to do is shade, and I really wish I had a highlighter, but I know, that's okay. All right, so we are going to shade. So which direction do you guys think means greater than? Do you think it's this area here, this big area, or this area in the bottom corner? Which one do you think is shading greater? So if I have a line, which one do you guys think, above it or below it? Right, it's above it. And so we are going to shade, and you can just lightly shade. It doesn't have to be all the way. Shade the whole entire thing in. One thing I like about a pencil is you can actually take your pencil and like to the side, you can shade it a little better with a pencil. So we are shading above that line. And the reason why we do this, a lot of times in real life situations, you can have, like especially like in a business, most of the time a business has more than one product that they sell. And so this gives a business owner an opportunity of like what combinations, like this particular example, these would probably be profitable things and these would things that would be not profitable. And so they decide like what types of combinations would make their business successful. And this is honestly is one of the applications that's used the most as far as graphing is concerned. So whenever we're looking at these, I just want to show you guys one example, and we're not going to do this every single time, but I just want to ask you guys, is 0, 0 shaded? Like whenever we shade it, we shade the origin. All right, if it is in the shaded area, the origin, x is 0 and y is 0. Any point or any coordinate that's in the shaded area, you can plug in the x coordinate for x and the y coordinate for y, and it'll give you a true statement. So like in this case, y is 0, x is 0, and so you ask yourself, is 0 greater than negative 4? And it is. So that is a way that you can check. You're just not required. Now, if you pick a point that's down here, all right, 6, negative 6, that's not in the shaded area. So my y coordinate is negative 6, and then I plug in my x coordinate for x, and here, negative 6, it says is greater than 2, which is false. So an area that isn't shaded, those coordinates would give you a false statement. So those are just ways that we can check. So let's take a look at that second one. Go ahead and make your x and y coordinate if you haven't yet. And I'll say I will get it centered up a little bit better. So we have y, this time is less than or equal to negative 1/5 x minus 3. All right, now this is in slope-intercept form. Which number is my slope? Negative 1/5 is my slope, and my b value is negative 3. All right, so if I want to make this line, I would start at negative 3. And then if it is negative 1/5, do I go up 1 or down 1? All right, down 1 took care of the negative, so then I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't really have room to go this way, but in the other way, I could have went up 1, but then I would have to go backwards 5 to take care of the negative. Now, what type of line should I make here? It's less than or equal to, so is that dashed or is that solid? All right, that's a solid line, so we can just go right here. Pretend like that went 3 points and I did a good job. All right, so we are, this one, less than or equal to, that means it is a solid line. Now, which way should I shade, above or below? All right, so I'm going to shade below. And so then you guys can take your pencil and lightly shade the area that's below the line. Alright, so you guys gotta tell me what you're thinking right now. You're gonna say, I feel, did you guys do this in 8th grade? You're gonna say, some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. Definitely should have done it with slope-intercept form, maybe not standard form. So I know the advanced 7th graders did it last year. try another one? All right, let's see. Let's go down. I want to go back over. I'm not perfect at it yet. What about this one? All right, so we've not talked about these types of graphs since last week. Which variable are we missing? We're missing the y. So if we're missing the y, it can't touch the y-axis. So we go over on the x-axis to positive 1. All right, now, what type of line goes through the x-axis? Well, it's going to be a solid line for sure, but am I going to make a horizontal line or a vertical line on this one? All right, it's a vertical line. It's going through the x-axis, and it is a solid line. Now, on this one, you have two areas. You have an area to the left or to the right. So let's look at that symbol. What does greater than or equal to mean? Go left or go right? Yep, bigger numbers are to the right. And so whenever you shade, you can't shade above this line. You just got to make that decision, and greater than is to the right. I don't know what I did with that zoom to where I can't adjust that on the bottom anymore. All right, I want you guys to try number 4 by yourself. You guys agree you should start right here? Right, now what does my slope tell me to do? Do I go up 1 and over 2 or down 1 and over 2? Alright, we go down 1 to take care of that negative, and then we go over to positive 2. And we can continue down 1 over 2. Alright, so now we gotta look at that symbol. Greater than or equal to, what type of line are we looking at? Alright, solid. So you should have a solid line going through those points, extend it all the way across. And which way do I shade? So I have two choices. Am I going to do choice 1 or choice 2? Which one do you think would be the appropriate way to shade? It says greater than. Yeah, area 2. Because we're going above the line and to the right as much as we can. And so that would be our shading. So guys, this is what I have for you in slope-intercept form. Now, not every inequality is written in slope-intercept form, so if we need to, we're going to have to get y by itself. So I want to make sure that we do We're not going to do every single problem I had planned, but at least a couple. Okay, on this first one, x plus 3y equals, or x plus 3y is greater than 3. This right here is in standard. We want it to be in slope-intercept form. So we're going to get y by itself. So if I need to get the y by itself, how do I move this x over to the other side? All right, we're going to subtract it. And then for slope-intercept form, we write the negative x first. So 3y is greater than. And I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 there. And then bring down my plus 3. So I have negative 1x plus 3. All right, is y by itself yet? Or do I have one more step? All right, what do I got to do? All right, got to divide by 3. Sorry about that. All right, so now, whenever we are solving this, we now have y is greater than, what's my slope? Negative 1/3. And then my y-intercept, when I divide these two, becomes a positive 1. So then once it is in slope-intercept form, now we are ready to graph. We have a slope of negative 1/3, a y-intercept of 1. So we begin at positive 1 on the y-axis, and then negative 1/3 will tell me to go down 1 and over 3. Make a second point. Then I can go down 1 more, over 3, make another point. Now we've got to look at the symbol. Now, whenever we're looking at that symbol, is that dotted or dashed or solid? All right, it's a dashed line or a dotted line. You can call that whatever you would like. Dashed, dotted, that's fine with me. All right, do I shade above or below? All right, we're shading up. So you guys really do take good notes. All right, really quick. There we go. On this, y is less than negative 1. All right, y is negative 1. All right, what variable are we missing? All right, we're missing our x. So, which way are we going this time? We're going vertical. All right, or horizontal. I can't talk. Hey guys, what type of line? Dotted or solid? It's a dotted line or a dashed line. All right, are we going above or below here? All right, we're going to go below. And so then we would shade that area that's below. I apologize. I know I went a little fast on that one, so I'll give you guys some time to write that one down. So I wanted to make sure that we had an example of a horizontal line and a standard line. I actually have two I'm going to have you guys try by yourself on paper before we get started, because I want to make sure if you have as many different scenarios, because there's one thing that we definitely need to talk about that's not happened yet. All right, I want you guys to take a look at number 7 and number 8. Now, I just want to ask you a question. You might have to apply this in just a second. Do you guys remember an indicator 2? If I gave you an equation like, or an inequality like this, how do you get x by itself? All right, if you divide by a negative, what did we have to do with inequalities? You had to flip it. So, if you have a negative y term, the inequality is going to flip, so it will affect which side you shade. So, right now you see a greater than there, so when you divide, it's going to flip. So I want you guys to try these two by yourself, and then we'll go over those. I know some of you are still working on the second one, but on this first one, which area should I shade? One or two? Let's see. Does that mean above or below? All right, it means below. And so we would shade this area here. I know some of you are still working on number 8, and I don't want to go too fast, so keep working on number 8. greater than sign should flip to a less than sign. Two negatives become a positive 6/5 x, and then two negatives becomes a positive 1 there. So I'm actually going to rewrite this. Once you solve it, the slope-intercept form is the one that you're going to use to help you decide what type of line and which way to shade. So I'm just going to rewrite it up here because I'm going to scroll that up just so I can get the entire graph in the picture. I don't know what happened when I'm solving. Okay, so we have y is less than 6/5 x plus 1. So where should I begin? All right, on which axis? All right, positive 1 on the y. Now, do I have room to go up 6 and over 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have room to go up 6 and to the right 5. So which way should I go? Down 6, and then to the left 5. And then what type of line am I making here? A solid line or a dashed line? All right, dash, dotted. Now, whenever we're shading, we follow the rule of the slope-intercept form. So whenever we solved it, it now flipped to a less than. So which area am I shading? Area 2. Yep, shading below that line. So I know, I will tell you, I understand indicator 7's a lot. That's why I chose to do 2 days of review. So you guys do have an assignment that's just graphing inequalities today. And then Wednesday and Thursday we will do review. Thursday I have it to where you can ask any question that you need. And remember, even though I have deadlines on the assignments, you guys, as long as you have them turned in before the quiz on Friday, I will grade them. So if you need more time, don't stress out. If you have questions, you have to ask. Now, I am not going tomorrow to put a Google Meet link up. But if you have questions and you want me to look at something, because I understand just sending me stuff on email, especially with graphs, is really hard to communicate. So if there is something that you want me to look at or go over or review with you, please let me know, because I can just send you a link and then we can just do, like, I can do one-on-ones. It doesn't have to be a group one. So if you have questions on anything, please let me know. You're going to say, I have nobody coming in to test tomorrow. So with it being the end of the 9 weeks, I wanted to be available to everyone all day. And so that's why I didn't set any timelines. I do have a Kahoot in my 3rd hour, but that's only going to be on one computer, so I can answer questions on the other one. So I'm going to say, if you guys need me at all tomorrow during the day, just let me know. But I will let you guys take the rest of the time to work. And virtual kids, if you do not want to take this quiz on Friday on the computer, if you would like to come in on Friday, just let me know. 1:15 would be the time that you can come in.